You know, interesting that you talk about our current experience with the corona, virus, and the lockdowns in our countries and around the world. Some of the work that I've been invited to participate in has been around the area initially for stress, anxiety, depression, and things in that area. But when we actually met up with some people and did some preliminary interviews, which I like to do before we design a program, I realized that certain people, yes, they are faced with stress, anxiety, depression because of the loneliness or the isolation. However, there's another bunch of people on the other side of the coin where they are actually in crowds, right? And like you say, they're stuck together now. They have to put up with each other. And it is now bordering on the other side of the stress, anxiety, depression. It is now frustration, anger, and violence, which is, totally opposite. And um, when we prodded with a few more probing questions, we realized that a lot of people didn't know how to function because nobody taught them about how to build, how to nurture a relationship. And we are all creatures of habit, so to speak. And relationships, like every other thing, is a learned behavior pattern. Do you feel, based on your experience, is that we have a lack of role modeling, I suppose, people in our generation? Because our grandparents, there was someone at home more of the time. So the children grew up, having one parent or, some extended family in terms of grandparents or something in this family type environment where they had role models to refer or reference points. But now, a lot of people who are growing up, they've been in a situation where they were put into daycare or nurseries or play school, and the sense of values, the sense of relationships might be different. I mean, the old saying, the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world, right? So the question is,
Yes.
who's actually rocking our cradle?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question because the one of the reasons I quit my job is that. And I told you I was in Africa. I was asked to come to work with my husband. My husband's boss said, we always have husband and wife team in our office, so it would be nice if you could also join. And I had a child that was 4 years old and a baby that was 3 months old, and I refused to work. I enjoyed being a homemaker. So then he said, see, every parent here, they all have employed nannies. They're going to take excellent care. So what is so different about your child? You can just trust your child with them. They'll take good care of your child. But I refused flatly. I said, and I told my husband, I in fact threatened him, if you're going to compel me to work, I'm going to go back to India. You finish your contract and come back. Because I felt that if I give birth to my child, either I take care of my child or someone in my family does. But as you rightly pointed out, the joint family system is no more there. If at all, very rare. So all of us are nuclear families, and especially in families where both the father and the mother have to work, children are at the mercy of daycare. You have no choice. And yes, logically, we would say if both of us don't work, we will never be able to meet our ends, and also we will not be able to afford the kind of life that we aspire to give our children or for ourselves too. So we end up leaving the child at daycare. Again, when you say role model, now, not necessary that the role models we have or we had are good ones. There are bad ones too. So looking at it, you would think, okay, my child is better off without that role model. But all said and done, you still need people. Yeah, so as I was saying, role models need not be good role models too. So sometimes you feel that our children are better off without being around them. But all said and done, I think today when you look at the world, you see a lot of problems, all man-made problems in terms of environment, in terms of society, in terms of personal relationship. Everything involves people. And who are these people? Now, everybody was once a child. So every child is born innocent, right? It just smiles at you and you say, oh, what an innocent smile. So why a baby that is born innocent grows into a youngster and later into an adult that is not desirable by the society? What happens in between? So you have to take responsibility that raising that child is my duty, my commitment to the child. And it's very easy to blame the child. Oh, that's his or her nature. That's how he or she behaves. But only a little bit is nature. More of it is nurture. You know, we have to take responsibility for the life that we bring into this world. Now, that life did not ask to be born. We bring it into this world. So then we have that commitment. You know, but when a baby is born, for a few years, it's all fun till it starts talking. You know, you wait for the day for it to say mom, dad, and all. The moment it starts talking, then you say, shut up and sit down. You know, enough of it. We are not satisfied at all with what we have in hand. We always look into the future. Thereby, we lose the present moment. No, this moment is gone forever. You just cannot get it back. Again, you're into the future. Every single moment you're looking into the future one step ahead. So you lose track. Now, some people think that the child, when you provide for the child in terms of food, clothing, shelter, you know, toys and vacations and other material things, and now all the technology, then you're doing a good job. But I think that we are doing a bad job by doing that. You know, you can give the child very simple food, very simple clothing, very simple way of life. But what the child actually needs is your love and affection. No nanny will be able to provide that. No daycare center will be able to provide that. See, all of us may be having the practical issues, the practical problems of raising the children. I don't have the support of anybody but to depend on the daycare. What do I do? Now, these are individual problems which have to be addressed individually in person. There is no universal solution to this because each one's background is different, situation is different, your compulsions are different. So, you know, that have to be addressed separately. But overall, looking at the big picture, there is no denying that the child needs the care of the mother and the father. You know, each one plays their own role. You can't say a child only needs the mother or only the father. It needs both because the bond. And tomorrow when the child is going to grow up and have its own family, who's his role model? Now that we don't have a joint family, who's the role model? It's we, the parents. So what kind of a role model are we being to our children? Will we be happy if our child gets a spouse like us or be a person like us when they get married? Now, if you ask that question to yourself very seriously, I think you have the answer for yourself. So then you know how important it is to focus on the child instead of anything else at that point of time. You know, when I was translating one of Stephen Covey's books, I don't know which one, but he says that one of his daughters, when she had a baby, she was a working woman. And so she was so frustrated that she could not follow her schedule. So she says, I make the schedule, but then I don't get to even complete anything that I schedule. So Stephen Covey says, you know, it's nice that you have a schedule and all, but you know, when you have a baby, the baby is the only schedule that you have. You know, nothing is going to work. Whatever your baby calls for, whatever its demands are, those are the things that have to be met at that point of time, because they are the things that matter the most at that point of time. So all your other commitments, your work commitments, everything will have to take, you know, a back seat. You can attend to them only after a certain point of time. Right now, your baby is most important. So I think that sums it up. So you bring a life into this. It is your responsibility to make that child be a responsible citizen. You present it to the society. That's your greatest gift to the society. Imagine if each one of us takes that responsibility, assumes that responsibility, and fulfills it, even not necessarily 100%, 80%. I think we would have done a fabulous job. You know, the society will be less unsafe. It will be more loving, more giving, more compassionate. Because if you look all around, the Dalai Lama goes everywhere and speaks about compassion because he knows that that's what is lacking now. There is compassion displayed at different parts of the world. But if you collectively look at it as a universal society, I think there is less compassion, more of selfishness, more of violence, more of, me. It's the me that is more important than the we. So I, I think if these bigger problems have to be solved, we have to start at the grassroots level. And that's when we have the baby, because this baby is the one that's going to make up the society in the future. So you want to change the society, you change the way you bring up your child. I think we would have done a great job. It would have been a fantastic contribution to the world, more than anything that we would do.